Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you for joining us as we wrap up this week on Friday here in Greater West Bloomfield. Just a week away, in the heart of the lake, some of the biggest celebrities in Metro Detroit will be in Kego Harbor for a good cause. Killers Christmas returns for year number 15 in Kego, raising funds to support the Tom Kowalski Foundation along the way. Matt Riley from the Tom Kowalski Foundation gave us a special preview earlier on this week alongside our team's Jake Schaff.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jake, thank you for having me. Really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to get the word out even further.
Of course, really looking forward to this event. I had such a blast attending Killers Christmas last year. I can't believe it's already this time of the year again. And like I said, this is the 15th anniversary of Killers Christmas, which is amazing. What does that milestone mean to you and the Tom Kowalski Foundation?
Well, like you say, you can't believe that it's already been, a year since we were all in the room together. We can't believe that it's been 15 years, that we've been doing it, and since we lost Killer. But it's just like we are so heartfelt, and we can't believe that it's been 15 years. And we stayed with the community, and we just think the big guy's looking down on us with a big smile on his face.
Absolutely. I think he would be incredibly proud of how far this event has come throughout those 15 years. And for those who might be a little unaware, could you share the story of how Killers Christmas began and why Tom Kowalski's legacy inspired this annual event?
Absolutely. So, as we all know, those of us who knew Tom knew that he was a big man with an even bigger heart. And he had a huge spot in his heart for children. And he didn't think that any children should go without at Christmas. So he started a small event in Kego at a bar called the Brew House. And there'd be he'd be himself, and maybe Stoney and Wojo would be behind the bar. And they'd raise a little bit of money, a couple $1,000 to help out the kids in Kego who went without. After his passing, a group of us got together and decided that this would not die with him. And we moved the event to the lodge, and we raised, I think the first year, maybe $18,000, and we kept going up and up and up. And I'm proud to say that last year we raised $144,000 on the night.
Wow, that's a huge milestone, and all money that's going to incredible purposes. Could you tell us a little bit of where all of this money goes and the many charities that this event supports?
Sure. All of it. So we have nobody on the payroll. I mean, we have a handful of expenses, but pretty much dollar for dollar of everything raised goes out to 4 charities. One is Fueling Kids' Futures, which is West Bloomfield Schools, where they make sure that the kids who are needy for food go home with 6 meals every weekend. Also, we have Team Joseph, which is children, mainly boys, with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Defeat the Label, which is an anti-bullying junior high and high school group, and then a group called the Downtown Boxing Gym, and they have a program called Books Before Boxing. Believe me, it's not boxing, it's Detroit schools. Well, it's after Detroit schools, helping the kids get the education that they really need.
All amazing programs that this event supports, and we love to see it, Matt. And I'm curious what we're going to be looking forward to for this year's event for 2025. Are there any special programs, guests, initiatives that you can tease for what's to come this year's event?
Absolutely. A couple of things. One is we're chasing a goal, and we just think it's poetic a little bit that 15 years, we're going for $150,000, which will be a new record. We still got some work to do, but we're working hard. And an appliance store out in Port Huron, of all places, knows about us. Actually, it's a gentleman that I know, Nick Bonderek, who knew Killer back when I did, and every year he takes from his Black Friday and Small Business Saturday sales, he donates usually about 10% of all of the sales to a charity, and this year he's chosen us. So anybody listening who might be interested, Kimball Appliance, they can order online, kimballappliance.com. Anybody wants to drive out to Port Huron, buy any kind of appliances, bedding, what have you, we'd appreciate it.
That's right. Want to get as many people knowing about this event as possible. Want you to break that $150,000 goal that you have and to extend it even further. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Matt Riley from the Tom Kowalski Foundation, who's giving us a sneak preview of this year's Killer Christmas event taking place at the Lodge Bar and Grill on December 5th, the 15th anniversary of this incredible event. And having had this event go on for 15 years, I'd imagine there's a lot of big moments that stand out within that time. What would you say are some of the most meaningful achievements or moments from the past Killers Christmas events?
So in the past couple of years, Marissa Penrod, who some of the viewers, a lot of viewers probably know of, she is the president founder of Team Joseph. Her son Joseph has muscular dystrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and she just refuses to give in. And she started an organization that actually Tom Kowalski and I were a part of 14, 15 years ago. And it's going today. And the last couple of years, Marisa has gotten up on the bar. Any of you who've been at the event know that we like to do a lot of announcements standing on the bar. And she's shown us all the impact that we've made in some of these kids and their families' lives by getting them vans, wheelchairs, ramps, what have you. And it's kind of, it's tangible, right? You can wrap your arms around that, and everybody in that room feels the love, and we've helped make this happen.
You absolutely have. And with an event like this, I'd imagine it's not just the Tom Kowalski Foundation that's behind this. There's a lot of help that helps to put on this event every single year. How do you engage sponsors, volunteers, and the broader community to sustain the event year after year?
Well, it starts with the people at the lodge. I mean, Kelly, Albert, Nick, and the gang all at the lodge are just incredible. I mean, what they do for us and the way they roll out the red carpet and help us. Then we have an incredible group of volunteers that come from some of the charities. Team Joseph supplies us a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of regulars at the bar who jump in. I mean, we probably have 30 volunteers on a given night. And then the sponsors. I mean, that's something that's kind of grown organically over the years. The first couple of years, first probably 7, 8 years, we didn't have sponsors. And then we realized, you know what, let's just sponsor everything. So I'll just give you an example. Zott Ford sponsors the bathrooms. And if anybody walks into the men's or the women's restroom, they're going to see Zott Ford stickers everywhere. Christina Gennari Homes sponsors the valet parking. So when people pull up, the valets are wearing her T-shirts and hats. And the sponsors have really gotten involved, and they also help us promote the event.
All that help everywhere you look. And yeah, people put those sponsorships and put those ads everywhere they possibly can. Everybody wants a piece of this, and everybody wants to help out. Let's go back to how this all got started, to the man who inspired this event, Tom Kowalski himself. How do you ensure that Tom Kowalski's values and mission still permeate the event, especially as it continues to grow?
Four simple letters. WWKD. Whenever I have a decision to make and it's coming down to something that's near and dear or that's about the heart of the event, I ask myself, what would Killer do? And it's one of the reasons that we've never left Kego. Tom was all about West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake. We've had offers to move the event to Royal Oak, to bigger venues, and we might be able to raise a little bit more money, but we would lose the spirit of Tom in the event itself. And anyone who's been in that room that night, and I hope I see everybody on Friday, knows how special it is. It's like, and as I'm talking right now, I'm literally getting goosebumps thinking about that room. It's so special, and it's like one big family that all comes together, and a lot of it is rooted. 90% of it comes from the area. It's also why we've never had an admission. I've had people say to me, you can raise more money, charge $10 at the door, charge $20 at the door. Never. Killer would never have it. He would never have it.
You're absolutely right, and you're right in describing the atmosphere. I remember it very, very well from last year. The energy, the mood, like everybody was happy throughout that event, and you could definitely feel Killer's spirit throughout it all. Now, Matt, beyond dollars raised, how do you measure the success of Killer's Christmas? Is it through stories, long-term partnerships, or possibly something else?
A lot of it is the difference that we're making. I've been lucky enough to be invited to every one of the charities that we support, to either their homes, their events, and I've seen the people that are either afflicted with Duchenne or are getting bullied in school, et cetera. And just to see the difference we're making there. But it's also, when you go out in the community, the fact that this event has been recognized as helping children, and also when you just put a picture of Killer up there, and it's one of the things that I just love to see, because I just look at the big guy, and unfortunately we lost him early, but he always looks the same. He always looks the same, and I'd like to think that he's proud that we're keeping his memory alive. I mean, we're not keeping his name alive, because everybody's always going to know Killer. It's on the press room at the Lions headquarters. There's a scholarship named for him, a journalism scholarship at the Lions, but we're keeping his memory alive. And what he did, and the good that he did.
You are absolutely right. Every time you look at that face, you are reminded of the amount of impact Killer has had on this community. Matt, I'd love to keep talking about this. I got a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
We're at the 15th anniversary right now. What are your hopes or your vision for the next 5, 10, even the next 15 years of Killer's Christmas and the Tom Kowalski Foundation?
Well, I told everybody I work with that I'm not going to set goals anymore and torture them. But who knows? I mean, I've said that 4 or 5 times in the past. But I think what I'd love to do is I would like to get the next generation involved. I'd like to bring in some younger people. We're not, none of us are getting any younger. And there's some people that I've talked to. Anybody out there that's listening that would like to get involved, Jake knows how to get a hold of me. I'm looking for people who want to take it to the next level and bring in the next group of people.
I love that. Want to get as many people involved with this event as possible. Last question, Matt, where can people go to learn a little bit more information about this year's Killer Christmas and how they can get involved and how they can help out?
Sure. Just killercares.org. On the website, we've got everything out there. It's got, all events. It's got a countdown to the event. We're on Instagram and Facebook and all the social media. And I apologize. Any of my friends who are watching this are going to laugh. I've never been on any social media. I'm of that age. But there's a Killer Cares pages on everything that are posting daily. But killercares.org, all the information's there.
That's where to go to learn as much as you can about this event, and we hope to see as many people out there as possible. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Jake, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you a week, well, 2 weeks from this Friday.
You can join them at the Lodge on Friday, December 5th, beginning at 4 p.m. with different celebrity bartenders tending bar all throughout the evening. More information on who will be there, when they'll be there, and how you can get involved on killercares.org. One more time, that's killercares.org, or all across social media, as Matt said in that segment, all of their social media under the same handle at killercares. If you're getting ready to travel this Thanksgiving season and you need a good read for the road or while you're in the air, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library is making it easier than ever to reserve your book of choice and have it ready at either the main or the West Acres branches, all thanks to their brand new app. Robbie Pluta, a library digital services aide, joined me right here on the Splash Live to dive deeper into this new technology that is helping take library services to a whole new level. Robbie, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on, as this is a big step for the West Bloomfield Library and many different organizations in our community here in Greater West Bloomfield and those across communities in southeastern Michigan and other places all around the world are now shifting to this sort of a format where they're taking their resources and they're putting them on an app to provide that extra level of convenience. For the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, what was the main motivation behind taking all these resources that are, of course, in person at your two branches and, of course, on your website, now to being in a digital app?
I think you described it there perfectly, in that there was already kind of a need, and we're seeing trends of other institutions and particularly other libraries creating their own apps and digital interfaces for patrons to get these resources on their phones. So I think it was already kind of a trend we saw emerging, and I would get plenty of questions of people asking, do you guys have an app, or can we link my accounts with my kids? So we saw the need was there already.
And so how does the app then enhance the experience that people would have when they go to these two branches or when they visit on your still very new and renovated website?
Well, I'm never going to discourage anyone from visiting the library in person because there's so much to see there.
Neither will we.
But I will say that the app works to really consolidate a lot of the key features and key questions that patrons and visitors might have. What are our hours? Can I search for this book? Is there an event going on right now? Is my book ready to be picked up? So it really consolidates it all in one easy place that patrons have access to.
And there's so many resources at the library, Robbie, and so many people love to use the West Acres branch and the main branch to pick up some of those good reads that they want to find, that maybe they don't want to go out to the bookstore and buy another copy of it when it's already available right here in our community. They get their library card. They just want to go there for specific resources. But with all of that being available and so many people having such an affinity for the West Bloomfield Library, there is a little bit of competition there, but this app provides a little bit of help if people want to reserve some of those resources in advance before they head out to one of their branches.
Exactly, yeah. So being able to look in advance before you even visit the library, do you have this book? Is there something going on right now? Being able to carry your barcode with you is something that I know a lot of people were looking for. I would see people constantly trying to shuffle, find which wallet, find which string of the keychain it's on. So being able to know where it is instantly with just a tap of your finger was a convenience a lot of our patrons were already looking for.
Joining us on the Splash Live is Robbie Pluta from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, one of their library digital services aides on today's edition of the program. You can learn more about the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, including their brand new app. Visit them on their website, wblib.org, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram at West Bloom LIB. Robbie, what feedback have you received so far from people that have been asking, hey, do you guys have an app? Do you have an app? And now you do. It's available for people to use. What so far has been the response from the community?
I think overwhelmingly it's been pretty positive from all the patrons that I've spoken to. I would say our barcode feature is one that is a real standout for people, as I mentioned, being able to know where that is instantly, so you don't have to shuffle through your belongings to find it. I would say as well the ability to link other people's accounts in your family or in your household. So if your spouse puts a book on hold and you're running to the library and you're already there, you can check it out for them instead of calling them, getting their library card, waiting for them to come in. I think a lot of people are also eager to see how we integrate in the future with other digital resources we have, like our ebook, audiobook software, cloud library. So you can still access all that material through the app. It's just on another tab that says ebooks and e-audio. So you can still get that all for free with your library card. It's just like a separate press there that I think people are excited to see.
Now, this is all very exciting, and people love having an app for their local library, especially here in Greater West Bloomfield, where the township and our Tri-Cities love and adore their local library. But not everybody's very tech savvy. They have this idea of, okay, first it was I go to the library to find all these resources. Then I got to learn the website. Now I got to learn an app as well. For those that maybe aren't so tech savvy, how easy is this app to use and to learn?
I think it's particularly easy to use. I think all of our features are labeled very well and in very big text so people can see what exactly am I looking for. There's no menus to navigate through. It's all just through the press of a button that you can get to things. And anything that you would need help looking for, all of our librarians at either West Acres or at Maine are happy and eager to help you out. So I would definitely encourage people, ask at the desk, ask your librarian how you can download the app, how to navigate through it. We're excited to see people embracing this and using it.
This is kind of the way that libraries are going to be operating going forward, Robbie. They got to find new ways to engage local audiences to come into their facility, to engage with their resources. And people want to find those at the same convenience that they would be shopping online for something or researching for a fun event in their community. They're going to do that on the go. They're going to do that on their phones. So how does this help fit into the library's broader digital imagination for the future, and how that factors into the continuity of this beloved resource in our community?
I think you laid it out there perfectly in that so much of our lives now have become digitized. Your healthcare is online, your schooling's online, looking for a job is pretty much all online right now. So digital literacy is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. So anything the library can do to help our patrons feel more comfortable in this world is something that we feel obligated to do. We always want to increase people's access and their knowledge in any way we can. And so if this app helps people get more comfortable using other digital resources, that's a step that we want to take. And we've also taken further steps to increase our offerings for technology tutoring and for digital classes at the library. I just taught one the other day about people migrating to Windows 11. So we understand there's a lot of features out there that people are still learning to use and adapting to use, and we want to help facilitate that transition for our patrons.
I'm glad you brought that up too. Robbie Pluta, Digital Services Library Aide with the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, is with us on the Splash Live as the West Bloomfield Library has launched its official app. It's available on both Android and Apple app stores and is available for free. All you got to do is log in with your library information to access all of those resources and connect it to your library information so that when you go to the main branch or the West Acres branch, there it is, all right there for you. But as we discussed and you just brought up, there are also those resources, and that's a big part of what you do at the library to help those that maybe aren't caught up with the times and the digital technology to bridge some of those gaps too. So how does that also factor in now as the library moves toward more of these digital resources being available and it being more critical to people being able to continue to have that ease of access to these resources they've become so accustomed to?
Yeah, so we've been noticing, especially in our trends, that our checkout numbers for digital materials are just going through the roof. It's easily the most in-demand service that we offer now. And so we wanted to use this app as an opportunity to showcase a lot more of that too. So you can link directly into our primary app that we get ebooks and e-audiobooks through called Cloud Library. All you need is your library card and you get access to many, many titles for free. I constantly have people, when I show them this, they so this is all for free? And I'm like, yes, anything you can get through your local library is for free. And in addition to that, we have language learning services through our app Mango Languages. You have access to many different investment strategies as well through our online resources. You can access Ancestry in person in the library if you're doing family genealogical research. The sky's the limit, basically.
And it's all accessible to you with your mobile devices. Android App Store, Apple App Store. The West Bloomfield Township Library now has its very own official app. You can learn more about it on their Facebook page at West Bloom LIB or on WBLIB.org. Robbie, as we conclude today, what maybe are some other new innovations from the digital technology side that the library is now starting to implement or maybe having on the docket in the near future?
Ooh, well, I can't speak too much. Don't want to give too much away, but one thing that I can say is that I believe in January we are starting a open hours resume workshop that I will be assisting with. So I know in particular a lot of people come to the library with questions about how to set up their resume, what are people looking for, how to fill out the online applications that like LinkedIn, Indeed are all using now. So we're going to be doing like an open office hours style resume assistance starting in January. So people should keep an eye out for that.
Well, that, folks, is what we in the television business call a teaser. That means we're just going to have Robbie and others from the library have to join us on The Splash that much more often as we get into the coming months and start the new year in 2026. Robbie, thank you as always for your time.
Very appreciated. Thank you for having me.
More information on the West Bloomfield Library's brand new app can be found on their website, WBLIB.org, or follow them all across social media at West Bloom LIB for even more information and updates from the West Bloomfield Library on upcoming programs and other initiatives in the near future, especially on the technological side. They're making a lot of innovations of late. That app just one of the first steps, as Robbie Pluta had previewed with us right here on The Splash Live. Close to home as we reach the end of November and head into December next week. It also comes into play that we're just a few days away from the beginning of the winter season. That means your trip to and from work, school, activities, and traveling this holiday season is going to be a little bit different, especially when weather conditions start to play a bigger role in your commute across Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. From the Road Commission for Oakland County, Craig Bryson joined us recently right here on the Splash Live to talk with Jake Schaff about how the change of season impacts the Road Commission and their work every day, and what motorists should be preparing for right now as we get ready for the snowy season.
Craig, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, very, very important conversation to be having. We've all been seeing the snow come down in Michigan, the first snow of the season, and it's just reminding us of what is to come. So as the temperatures begin to drop, what are some key things Oakland County residents should keep in mind when driving on local roads?
Well, the first and foremost thing we always tell people is to please slow down. We'll be out doing everything we can, but we can't guarantee that there won't be some icy, slushy spots. So please slow down, drive appropriately for conditions. Every year at the beginning of the season, we see people driving too fast and putting themselves and potentially others at risk. So please slow down when the weather is inclement.
That's right. And this stuff could happen at any time of the day. But I'm curious, are there certain times of day or types of roads that tend to become more dangerous once the temperatures start to dip below freezing?
Absolutely. First and foremost, the morning and evening rush hour when you have the most traffic on the road is always the most dangerous. You have the most people crowding into roads that are sometimes over capacity. Any time of the day, depending on when the weather hits, can be challenging. But when the most traffic is out is when we're most concerned and we're trying to get the roads as clear as possible. But of course, any time of day, please just drive for conditions.
That's right. Always be wary of what is on the road. Now, I'm curious, how is the Road Commission preparing for the upcoming winter season in terms of maybe equipment or salt supplies or even staffing?
Yeah, all of those. We've now completed our fall winter maintenance training. We go to every garage, sit down with all the drivers and review all the procedures, all the practices as far as how to drive, safety techniques, truck maintenance techniques. Our mechanics have completed, although it's an ongoing process always, but they've completed the fall review of all the trucks. The trucks are ready to go. We've got all of our salt facilities full, which means we've got about 37,000 tons of salt in 6 storage facilities across the county. So we are ready.
Wow, 37,000 tons of salt. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's how much we have on hand when we have all of our salt facilities full. We use an average of about 64,000 tons per year. So, that's a little bit more than half of what we'll use in an average year.
Wow. I mean, that certainly does help put things into perspective about just how much you guys prepare for this sort of stuff and just how much work goes into keeping our roads safe. And I am curious, Craig, with the winter season coming along, because you guys do great work in keeping our roads safe, but of course, I'm curious, are there maybe some new technologies or strategies that the Road Commission is going to be using this year to maybe improve efficiency and response times, especially during snow and ice events?
Well, there's a couple of things. We finally got 34 new trucks in this year, late this year, that we literally had ordered during COVID, and they finally came in. The delay in getting equipment has been crazy for the last couple of years. We're finally getting those trucks out on the road. Those trucks offer some new technologies. Traditionally, salt trucks had a single salt spreader in the back that spread the salt. Some of our new trucks have dual salt spreaders on each side of the back of the truck that allows them to salt a wider area. We can do multiple lanes at once. Some of them even have salt spreaders on the side of the truck that can spread the salt out to an additional lane towards the side. Those things make us more effective. We can salt more lanes at the same time. Almost all of our trucks now have the wing plows that fold out from the right-hand side, so we can plow an additional lane or shoulder at the same time, again, making us more efficient. All of our trucks are equipped with the green lights now that make them more visible. Even in a blinding snowstorm, those green lights can be seen from further away, which is a safety issue. So lots of new technology, and being inside of those trucks is kind of like being in a fighter jet. There's so much technology in the trucks now. We have cameras on the front of the trucks that we can monitor what they're seeing, so our management people can look at any of the trucks that are out there and see what the road conditions are like. They can monitor the amount of salt that's being spread anywhere to make sure we're putting down the right amount of salt for the conditions at that moment. Lots of technology on these trucks these days.
You're absolutely right about those trucks. I was in one of those trucks last year for a story for Civic Center TV, and I can tell you firsthand, yes, a lot of technology, a lot of stuff that goes into keeping our roads safe, and it's great to hear of the continued updates in that efficiency. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Senior Communications Manager for the Oakland County Road Commission, Craig Bryson, about some important tips to keep in mind as we're starting to see the first snowfalls of the winter season and as temperatures are dropping, how to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe on the road. Now, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, road construction is always going to be taking place, and that's something people should still be aware of as we are navigating through the winter season. How is construction managed during colder temperatures like this? What usually gets done?
Well, most of the construction that you'll see in the winter is emergency repairs, things like water main breaks, sewer breaks. Most of the main road construction will wrap up typically by the end of November or so. A few projects, they'll continue to do some surface work. But of course, please watch all the signs, slow down. Don't try to go through areas that are closed. Every year we have people that ignore the road closed signs, drive around barriers, putting themselves and the workers at risk. Please don't do that. That's a safety issue. The roads are closed for a reason. If we didn't have to close the roads, we wouldn't. But they're closed for good reason. Please respect those barricades and those signs, and don't go around them, and don't put yourself or our workers at risk. We want everybody to go home safely.
That's absolutely right. That is the biggest priority above everything else. And of course, also when it comes to colder temperatures, that means severe winter weather is always going to be in the back of our minds. It can always pop up at any time. What kind of coordination usually takes place between the Road Commission and local municipalities during severe winter weather, would you say?
Yeah, well, we monitor the weather very closely. If we know there's a storm coming, we will keep we'll let the communities know that we're going to be getting ready to get out there. Sometimes the storms come up with a little advance warning. Those are the more challenging ones. Or we get a storm where it's right at the breaking point of the freezing. You know, if it goes up a degree, there's no storm, it's just rain. If it drops a degree, we have a major snowstorm. Those are the kind of the hardest ones to monitor, but we do try to share information with our partners in all the communities. Many of the cities and villages are also doing their own road maintenance, so they're monitoring things as well. But communications is a big part of it. We want to let the public know what we're doing as well, so we'll send out press releases to you, our friends in the media. We'll post information on social media. That's a great way to kind of keep track of what's going on. But it's often a very fluid, changing situation, and it can change, minute by minute sometimes.
Sounds like a pretty well-oiled machine, all things considered, and great ways to keep everybody informed. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Craig. How can residents stay updated on current road conditions or report problems that they witness during winter storms?
Yeah, great question. So we've got a real-time traffic map on our website that'll indicate whether traffic is slow or going at normal speeds. There's also a lot of cameras that you can click on to see real-time what the roads look like in those locations. That's a great resource. We've got all the MDOT cameras along the freeways linked on that website, so you can click, see if the freeway's running smoothly or if there's snow on the roads. That's one great source. You can follow our social media. We post updates there regularly. And then just, pay attention to what the weather forecasters are saying. We're listening to them as well. We're listening to our own forecasters, trying to stay abreast of what Mother Nature is throwing at us.
That's right. And I mean, Michigan weather can be some of the most unpredictable weather of all, as this said from somebody who's lived in the state all 26 years of my life. But it can always change with the snap of a finger. But yes, always important to stay prepared. Craig, I want to thank you so much for joining us on The Splash. One last question. What would you like the public to better understand about the work your crews do during the winter months to keep roads safe and accessible?
Yeah, that's a great question. We want people to know that we will be out there when it snows. We often hear, well, I haven't seen a snowplow, so you guys must not be out. The reality is we cover 2,700 miles of county roads and 230 miles of state highways. And when we have our maximum coverage out, we've got about 109 trucks, 19 road graders, and potentially 18 pickup trucks. So the likelihood of you seeing one of those trucks during your commute is probably statistically fairly low. That doesn't mean we're not out there. Just because you don't see our trucks doesn't mean we're not out there. We monitor the weather very closely. When it's snowing or in the cleanup of period after a storm, we are out there. You may not see us, but we're out there working hard, and our drivers are out around the clock during those situations. And we thank people for their patience as we get things cleaned up.
Always out there and always working. And we thank you, Craig, and the Road Commission for everything you're doing to keep the roads safe. Thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
More helpful information on road closures and upcoming projects and more, rcocweb.org. You can also follow them on Facebook at RoadCom. That's RoadComm for updates all throughout the winter season. And follow that advice, especially if the roads are a little bit slick. Go a little bit slower, leave a little bit more distance, maybe leave a little bit earlier. And that also applies for the holiday season. A lot more motorists will be on the road this weekend and into the early portion of next week. Really good advice from Craig Bryson. And if you're just tuning in, you missed a portion of that interview, you can find it on demand on civiccentertv.com. West Bloomfield Township is looking a little bit different in recent months, saying goodbye to their old livery with an updated logo that reflects the township's identity in 2025. PR expert Brian Birch, whose company designed the new logo, joined us on The Splash Live for a closer look at the brand new logo.
Thank you so much for joining us, Brian.
Pleasure to be here.
Really, really happy to have you with us and loving the brand new design for West Bloomfield. What inspired the idea to give the logo a bit of a redesign?
We have been working with the township for several months now, and I have a kind of personal background of visiting West Bloomfield and families, friends who lived in the area. And so I had an understanding of what West Bloomfield was all about and how desirable of a community it is to live. And we've spent these past 4 months kind of digging into that and understanding why people want to live here. We held a public forum in June to understand what issues and priorities that residents have in the community. I've listened to hours of public comment and what people are willing to stand up at a podium and ask for. Among those things is preservation of our natural world. The reason people love West Bloomfield so much is that it has this intimate connection between the outdoors and their lifestyle, be it where they live, where they shop, where they send their kids to school. And so that sustainable living and vibrant community life is really the inspiration for what you see today.
I love it. Lots of very important values and qualities that help make West Bloomfield exactly what it is. What would you say were some of the most important of those values and qualities that were important to reflect in this logo?
I think environmental stewardship was the number one. If there's anything that's distinct about West Bloomfield, is that it has a commitment to sustaining nature, sustaining wetlands. And so we actually articulated that as best as we could, bringing that great blue heron into the design itself. The heron, which was gone in West Bloomfield for a while, but has returned because of this preservation commitment in the community. It desires clean water. It desires safe spaces and safe wetlands. And that return is going to be an inspiration to all of us that the hard work is paying off. And so the blue heron is kind of this, we've adjusted the design of it to be this lifting into flight. It's like reaching for greater. It's a growth model idea that we can aspire to something even better than who we are and what we are. So that captures what I think is the heart of West Bloomfield Township.
I love it. And I love hearing about the creative process that's going into this brand new logo. How would you say that this one differs from the previous logo in terms of style and symbolism? Well,
The previous logo is not a logo. It's the seal. Right. And in that way, it's still, I would call that a sacred element or tool. Like, we're not changing that. And you'll see the seal used in official documentation, official actions or placeholders of the Board of Trustees or other places around the township. So you'll still see it. But what we've done is we've created, I think, a marketing tool that really articulates something that can be more fun, more energetic. A lot of communities have seals, and I think they're great and they should be used. But if we're going to go out and talk to people, if we're going to be proactive in our outreach, which is what we were called to do when we were brought onto the team, this is the right step forward. And so when you look at things like the West Bloomfield Township website, this will be integrated into that channel. You'll see it on social media channels. You'll see it in all these other places, the sides of vehicles. Anywhere you can get a touch point with a resident, a visitor, you'll start to see this. Marketing banners, like there's banners that are come into the Township Hall area, the library, and the Parks building. There's these very nice banner light poles, and those will appear. The logo will appear on those. So it's a marketing tool. Let's be honest in what it is, and it's designed to really speak a specific language to the people who we want to understand this community best.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Brian Birch, the owner and managing partner of Birch Partners, who's talking about the brand new logo that was recently unveiled for West Bloomfield Township and the creative process behind its design. Now, Brian, you touched on it a little bit ago about how important community interaction and feedback was in helping to make this logo what it is. How do you hope residents and visitors feel when they see this new logo?
We haven't gotten a ton of feedback yet. What we have received, specifically from the board, from the members of the audience who were there, lots of enthusiasm, people excited. We do understand that change is difficult, and a lot of people don't love change. And there are people who will have this logo will have its detractors. We fully understand that. However, we really do believe that this is going to align well, authentically with who West Bloomfield is, the residents who live here, the people who own businesses here, the people who come to visit, the people who enjoy the beautiful lakes, the pristine waters. That's who we think we're really going to love this. And in the end, this will just be a part of the community as much as any of the lakes and any of the roads and whatnot.
Hey, I already see. I mean, if the feedback is anything to base this off of, I think that this logo is going to fit in just nicely with West Bloomfield and the town's aesthetic and its brand new direction. And how would you say you see the new logo representing the township's future vision and the direction it's going?
The vision itself, the township really does want to be a place for everyone. It wants to be welcoming. It wants to be inviting. And it always has been. It wants to keep that position. But I think if you look at the demographics of West Bloomfield, we're seeing people who have lived here for generations. And our goal is to find a way to bring those who are graduating from the high schools in the area and where they start their careers. Maybe they don't move here right away, but they're boomerangs. And boomerang folks are important. West Bloomfield is the place with great schools, with great roads, with great trails, with great environments. This is where we want them to start their families. We want cul-de-sacs filled with kids playing ball. We want to see that growth happen with the next generation. And so putting a great face forward, creating an image that aligns authentically with who we are, is the starting point of really that vision for the next stage of West Bloomfield Township.
A boomerang city. That's a new one. I've never heard that before, but that is so right. A very, very unique perspective on this. And you're absolutely right. It is absolutely the kind of city that you'd love to raise your family in and start your life. And this logo is going to help represent that city and the township in so many ways. Brian, I got one more question before we wrap things up. Looking ahead, how do you see the logo helping West Bloomfield stand out among other communities in Michigan?
There's a lot of competition for residents, for business, for economic development. That's nothing new. There has been for a very long time, and we maybe don't want to speak about it, but when we look at what we have as our neighbors, we have amazing neighbors. Commerce Township, Walled Lake, Novi, Northville. These are really great communities too. There's nothing wrong with them. But if we really want to stand out, we have to stand out with a really great image. We have to be able to speak who we are and say it loudly and proudly. And so the image itself is designed to be a tool to help us do that, to help the leaders of this community, whether in government, whether in leadership, in business, or whether just leaders in the community, to really say with pride, I live in West Bloomfield and I love it, and you should move here or you should start your business here too.
Well, this is a pretty good image to put out there for everybody all throughout Michigan. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you.
You're seeing the new livery all across West Bloomfield Township, as Brian said. On the signage you'll see at Town Hall and other places across West Bloomfield, as well as on all of their social media. It's already been switched over. Follow the township for more information and updates across their social media. Facebook and Instagram, same handle, at WB Township. The holidays are a time of bringing the family together, but sometimes those mini family reunions can include additional stress as a special guest. Here to help us navigate some of the challenges of the holiday family gatherings this season is Carrie Krawick, a licensed family therapist with the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Carrie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on as we get ready for the holiday season in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. A lot of people will be traveling, a lot of people will be staying home, but what will be a common theme is people getting together with some immediate and extended family, maybe people they haven't interacted with a lot lately, and that can sometimes cause a little bit of conflict. What are some of the common ways that we see that manifested at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and other holidays?
Well, sure. I think just, of course, everything over the last couple of years, there's different opinions if it's on political or pandemic or what it might be. And so people use these opportunities to get together, and maybe some intentionally to stoke the flame or some to try to be persuasive. But it can be very quick that a conversation might go from regular dinner table talk to something that's making somebody uncomfortable. Even personal stuff, asking about your relationship status or if you're choosing to have a child or not, or how your career is going. All of those things can evoke emotions, and so they might be well intended, but it might not be the right time or place to get into those like sort of more intimate personal topics.
And are those some of the more common points of anxiety for people as they approach the holidays, those sorts of conversations, or are there other common factors that kind of make that a little bit more tense as we get into the holidays, which you would think would be a pretty pleasant time for most people on paper?
Sure, like you said, for some, they may not see each other very often. Sometimes they're steeped in expectation. You know, someone's hosted an event and they've put a lot of emphasis or pressure on themselves to make it a very good event for everybody else. And so those little things can add to stress. Certainly, alcohol and drinking around the holidays can lead to some more tension or some uncomfortable conversations.
Carrie Krawick is with us, a licensed family therapist with the Birmingham Maple Clinic as we get ready for the holiday season. And Carrie, as those uncomfortable subjects come up or those tense conversations start to arise at the dinner table or other places as we have these family gatherings this time of the year, what are some of your tips for people to maybe put a pause or put an end to those conversations before they reach that breaking point that leads to maybe family fight night at the dinner table?
Sure. So, I think one of the best things you can do and to keep in mind is that you cannot control the behavior of other people. So you really can only control and modify your own behavior. So paying attention to what you need, if you need to take a break or take some time and space are two important boundaries. So maybe take a walk. If you're the host, you might offer, hey, why don't we go out and play a football game, or let's go take a walk, do something to get some fresh air. If you need a safe word, maybe with an ally in your family, so that if you're getting uncomfortable or the topics are, triggering in some kind of way, that maybe that would be like sort of a cue that you could get them to help enlist you, like maybe to go to a bedroom or take a little break. So it's really hard to say to other people, you can't talk about this topic or that topic, but maybe even invite them like, hey, this is like a personal topic. Can we have an intimate conversation one-on-one instead of with the whole family and children and all these things?
What's the best time to set those boundaries and the best approach too? Because there could be a variety of different reactions to that. For some people, they'll be like, okay, I'm glad that we set those boundaries now so that we don't have those boundaries be crossed that may lead to some of those tense conversations. And for others, that may also be a sticking point.
Sure. Some, like I said, some of our families have agitators and they have a feeling like I'm not going to be told what to do, or so it almost makes it more likely. Your boundaries have to really be for yourself. What do you need to take care of yourself? If it's going for a certain time and having a strategy to leave ahead of when things start to get maybe a little more tense, being able to sort of recognize if you need something, then you can leave, right? You can set the boundary for yourself instead of for somebody else. I think prepare over panic. Think about what you might need, or have some kind of canned phrases to certain topics that you might not want to get into, so that you can be prepared yourself and kind of armed with your own sort of statement to just kind of brush it off and respect your own boundary. If you don't want to get into that conversation, then don't get into it.
And people all have their own points of tension, either from subject matter, from people, or both. And that plays a factor too. And in these cases, that's not all entirely avoidable. But what is something that you can do, as you mentioned it earlier, saying you can't control the behaviors of other people, the decisions of other people, but you can control your own behavior. So how do you suggest people take a step back and maybe reflect on their own behaviors, their own tendencies as they approach these sort of social situations with their family to make sure they are playing at best a minimal or entirely zero role in any sort of conflict that may arise?
Sure. I think it's what your goals are, and kind of do your behaviors match your goals. That's sort of integrity, right? So if you say, hey, my goal is to have this like pleasant family experience or be, supportive or whatever it might be, that your behavior should fit in with your goals. And if you can't do that, then you need a moment to like do some deep breathing, take a break, prayer, gratitude. It's Thanksgiving. So like finding things to be thankful for is a huge remedy to stress. There's tons of science that supports gratitude as just such a great way of relieving our own tension and our own negative feelings. And so reorienting yourself to on Thanksgiving, thinking about gratitude will help get out of some of those other sticky subjects.
And we can't avoid either, Carrie, the simple fact that not everyone's going to have a family gathering or has family to gather with during the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, others that may occur during the next couple of months. And so for those individuals, if we have those in our lives, how do we help them through this season? Because that's a completely different kind of stress than dealing with your family at the dinner table.
Sure. I mean, I think just, like being available, reaching out, making calls, making contacts, like I said, making opportunities even outside of the bigger family events. Hey, let's just do something one-on-one. Let's do something more intimate, and really just being bold and asking someone how they're doing, what they need, and if you can be supportive to them.
Carrie Krawick is with us from the Birmingham Maple Clinic as we get ready for the holiday season. Hey, look, it's a time of joy and getting together, maybe reuniting with some family close and not so close, and getting back together and with each other. But it can also be a lot of conflict. So for more information, helpful tips, follow them on Facebook at Birmingham Maple or visit their website, birminghammaple.com. Carrie, as we get closer to the holiday season, there are other stressors that also come into factor, especially traveling. We know in recent weeks and months that's been a bit of a sticking point for a lot of people because of factors with our government and just the way that particularly air travel has been for people in the last year or so. So as people get ready for the travel element of the holiday season, what's your advice to them to keep their nerves on the down low as they head to the airport or they get out on the road as it gets busy this time of year?
Sure. In many ways, it's not so indifferent than the advice for these family conversations. Plan ahead, prepare over panic, set reasonable expectations, and be able to give yourself an out. Now, if you're in a plane or an airport, you might not be able to take a break, but think about if you could walk or do some deep breathing or have some activities that are kind of light and calming, because it is a very stressful thing to do to make it through TSA and to, deal with delays and stuff. So just set yourself up with some reasonable expectations and some strategies to plan ahead so that you can cope if you need to.
Another reason to get to the airport a little bit earlier. You have all that time to walk off some of those stressors and calm down before you board and get on your way to your final destination for the holiday season. Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today. Any final advice as we get ready for the beginning of the holiday season with Thanksgiving and then as we start to plan for some of the later holidays toward the end of the year?
Yeah, like I said, just predict over panic. So prepare yourself for what you think you might need and set some reasonable expectations, and plan ahead with some other family members so that everybody's kind of taken care of. What do we need in terms of breaks? What do we need in terms of time? What do we need in terms of space? And be able to have a game plan going in.
Always good advice to make sure you're prepared for all these different scenarios as you come into the holiday season. Keep yourself calm and help others along the way as well. Carrie, thank you so much for your time today as always.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Carrie Krawick, a licensed family therapist with the Birmingham Maple Clinic, getting us ready for the holiday season. Very helpful advice. If you're just tuning in, you can see that conversation on demand on civiccentertv.com. We'll also be posting some helpful tips throughout the holiday weekend and going forward all across our social media, our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on Instagram and YouTube at Civic Center TV. For the Birmingham Maple Clinic, you want to get in contact with them, some last-minute help as you get ready for the holiday season, birminghammaple.com, or follow them on Facebook at Birmingham Maple. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always available online on civiccentertv.com and on those social media I just mentioned. Big thank you to our entire crew at Master Control for making this show possible each and every day, and of course to you for joining in, our extra member of the team. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Keefe, live, local, social. Thanks for tuning in to the Splash Live.